Hello, everyone. My name is AJ Frigo. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admissions at Purdue University. Thank you so much for attending this or watching this virtually or later on. We have some great folks here with us to talk to you a little bit about the student life at Purdue University and the resources that we have to offer your future students. Without further ado, we're going to go through a couple of these different areas, and they're going to talk for 5 to 10 minutes and maybe even briefer than that, and just basically share what they have to offer with their specific departments and what your future students may have available to them if they choose to pursue Purdue University. We will have this, like I said, recorded, and we will have everyone's contact information and the admissions office contact information as well if you have any follow-up questions. So without further ado, we will get things started, and we will start with learning more about our Center for Career Opportunity, our CCO. And Tim, if you don't mind introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about the CCO.
Absolutely. So my name is Tim Luzader. I serve as Executive Director for Career Success on campus, which includes Director of the CCO or Center for Career Opportunities. I do want to recognize that as a counselor, some of you may be Purdue alum. If you were here prior to 1997, you don't know Center for Career Opportunities. You may have remembered the University Placement Service. It's not that anymore, it's the CCO. And we are no longer in Stewart Center. 7 years ago, we moved over to Young Hall. So we are a comprehensive career center for the campus. And a lot of you as counselors know other universities of size similar to us. Many of us have this hub and spoke model for career services. What's unique about Purdue is we're kind of a super hub. And what I mean by that is we're comprehensive in our career services delivery, but also in employer engagement. As a matter of fact, last year, just to give you a sense of what it means to be a super hub with employer engagement, we had 1,788 unique employer organizations physically on campus. And this actually happened prior to spring break when people were still coming to campus before the pandemic. So we are very much a highly sought after university when it comes to employers recruiting Boilermaker talent. If you are an alum and you haven't seen us over in Young Hall, the facility allows us to have nearly 50 interview rooms and really a state-of-the-art activity for students, not only to engage employers, but also to meet with professional career counselors. A student has very much opportunity to learn a lot about themselves and about the resources available to them as early as their freshman year. The counselors will walk them through activities. It could be a battery of interest kinds of tests, or it could be a conversation to learn more about what they want to do. As counselors, I know that you know that when students are coming to college, they either know exactly what they want to do, they're thinking they know, or they really don't have a clue. And we recognize, as a matter of fact, past studies have showed that when students come to college thinking they know exactly what they want to do, many of them end up graduating with a different major than they thought they would start with as freshmen. So having someone to talk to, having a lot of resources and a lot of tools, online tools, is certainly very important to help them make more informed decisions about their careers. In addition, the pre-professional advising program is part of the Center for Career Opportunities. We have found in our postgraduate surveys that probably around 20% or so of our baccalaureate degreed folks will continue further study. What pre-professional advising is intended for are students interested in med school, law school, other health kinds of professional schools, and we have professional counselors to assist them in the decision making as well as the application process. So that is who we are. We're in Young Hall. During the pandemic, hopefully when you're listening to this, the pandemic will be in our rearview mirror. But if not, we offer a lot of great resources, both online as well as in person. We do provide students opportunity to come in and have in-person contact, and we certainly hope that continues as well. So thanks for the opportunity, AJ.
Thank you so much, Tim. We really appreciate it. So moving on, we will move right on to our housing. So Randy Purvis from Housing, if you want to just tell us a little bit about the housing at Purdue University and what resources there are for students there.
Sure. Once again, my name is Randy Purvis. I am the manager of guest relations for university residences. A really cool thing about Purdue housing is that we do not have a live-on requirement. I know that's a lot of times people have questions about whether or not they have to live with on campus their freshman year, and they don't. However, we still house about 94,000 or 94,000, excuse me, 94% of the freshman class. And we have about 14,000 students that live with us, which is just a little bit less than what half of our undergraduate population is. And so of those 14,000, about 50% of those are made up of upper class students. So not only do they choose to live with us their first year, they continue to live with us each year after that. We have lots of different amenity styles, everything from your traditional two-person common room with a common bathroom, all the way up to private rooms with private baths and air conditioning. So there's lots of different amenity styles to kind of fit a student's budget and what they're looking for. We are the largest residential campus in the Big Ten. We are also the least expensive college in the Big Ten. It's actually less expensive to attend Purdue now than it was in 2012, which is really awesome. We have 17 residence halls. 2 of them are brand new. They just opened up this fall. One of them houses all of our women in agriculture, technology, engineering, and science learning communities. And then the other one is just a continuation of build on to another one of our suite style halls. So we have 17 halls, we have 5 dining courts and over 30 different retail locations on campus, so that if you don't want to eat in a dining court, you're more than welcome to use your meal swipes at any one of the other locations. We also have a food truck. We also have several franchise operations on campus, such as Chick-fil-A, Panera Bread, Qdoba, Jersey Mike's. We have 3 Starbucks on campus. Lots of places that you can use your swipes. Some of those places take swipes, some of them don't. It just depends on what type of day it is. We also have several markets on campus too. So if you just want to go and grab like a gallon of milk, bread, whatever you need, we have those available also. Part of living in the residence halls includes continuing education outside of the classroom. So a lot of our programmatic aspects focus on building that holistic person. So we have tons of leadership opportunities within our halls. We have over 80 learning communities, and these learning communities are either based around a college or a major, or they're thematic in nature, like ROTC, or a new one we just started this semester, which is our executive and residence learning community. Most of them are for first year students. However, we do have some that are open to upper class students as well. We have different leadership opportunities. Like I said, we have groups such as UR Global, Multicultural Connections, Women's and Men's Leadership Series, as well as, like I mentioned, our Executive in Residence program, which I want to highlight because this is unique only to Purdue. If you were to Google Executive in Residence, you would see one other, I guess, corporation that does it. We're the only university that does it, but we modeled it after a Faculty in Residence program. So what we do is we bring back high-level Purdue alumni, and they get to stay in the residence halls with us and with our students for about a week at a time. And they eat and they program and they go hang out at the co-rec and they do lots of stuff with our students just one-on-one. We've had the last commander of NASA that took the last space shuttle up to the International Space Station. He was one of ours. We've had CEOs of Banana Republic, CTO of Coca-Cola, SeaWorld Entertainment. There's lots of big names and big industry leaders that we've had come to campus, and these students get to spend, like I said, one-on-one time with them. And we've had a lot of students that have actually secured internships and other opportunities with these executives after they've left campus. So that's a really unique program that's open only to students living in living in university residences. Students that live in the halls tend to have higher GPAs than students that live off campus. They tend to graduate on time, which I know is important for folks who are paying for the 4 years at college. And they are more likely to have leadership opportunities given to them. So that's just a very, very brief high-level overview of what UR is. We offer lots more, but that's just brief snippet.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Randy. Really appreciate your time. We're going to move on next to Jeff in PMO. So if you want to tell us what PMO is, what the acronym stands for, and everything else, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So Jeff.
Thanks, AJ. So PMO stands for Purdue Musical Organizations, which isn't what it sounds. We actually don't even do musicals, and we don't even cover band and orchestra. So Purdue Musical Organizations is actually Purdue's vocal music department. And even if that sounds simple, we have a handbell ensemble as well. So most things around here, like the band, developed out of ROTC. So bands and orchestras are their own deal under purdue.edu/bands. And choir is purdue.edu/PMO. So what does PMO have? Well, as I mentioned, we have a handbell ensemble, which is our only instrumental ensemble, but we have 5 choirs. So if you've got students coming to you looking for a college that has a show choir, they probably won't find one. But at Purdue, we might be as close to that genre as you have. High school show choir, particularly in Indiana, is very popular, very common with students. The show Glee popularized it even more, but it's really taking about 4 songs in 20 minutes and just working on those for a semester or more. Here, we have a little bit of a different setup. Our choirs are set up based on how involved you would like to be. So if you're a singer and you want to get involved as opposed to just a concert choir or a show choir, here we've got sort of a lot of different things to choose from. Purdue doesn't have a school of music, so there isn't the opportunity to major in music here. So if majoring in music is your thing, Purdue is not the school for you. But if you want to have a chance to really truly sing music at a high level and perform more often than most schools of music that I'm aware of or attended, this is really a great place to do that. So in addition to singing, we also have just a limited opportunity for bass, drums, guitarists, and sound technicians as well. So the way our ensembles break down, we break them down by desired level of interest and involvement. In other words, we've got 2 choirs that rehearse 5 days a week. We've got 2 groups that rehearse 3 days a week. And we have an ensemble that rehearses 1 day a week, just depending on how involved you want to be. Sometimes folks with, as they say, tougher majors want a little bit less of a time commitment for singing. And there are some folks that come in and frankly, one of our most involved groups, the Glee Club, has probably 50% of them are engineers. So it isn't really even based on whether or not you have a difficult major. It really is just how much do you want to sing while you're here. So I will just list each of the ensembles just very briefly. The Glee Club, as I mentioned, is a tenor bass ensemble. It's been around since 1893. They rehearse 5 days a week and have about 12 to 15 performances a semester. We also have a soprano alto group, the Purduettes, which were formed in 1942. They also rehearse 5 days per week, and they've got about 12 to 15 performances per semester as well. Both of those groups sing a really wide variety of music that'll appeal to just about any age group. We've got a couple of groups that rehearse 3 days a week, specifically University Choir, which would be the closest thing to a typical concert choir from high school that you might find. They've been around since 1933. They rehearse 3 days a week and have about 4 to 6 performances a semester. Another group that rehearses 3 days a week is Heart and Soul, which is our gospel, contemporary Christian inspirational choir. Again, they do about 4 to 6 performances a semester as well. And then our one rehearsal per week is the All Campus Community Chorale, which rehearses Tuesday evenings from 7 to 9. Typically, that's students, grad students, faculty, staff, and community members all together. That group ranges anywhere from 75 to 100 singers. This year, because of COVID, we limited the size to about 30 singers and all Purdue students. Hopefully that will change and get back to business as usual soon. And then, as I mentioned, our only instrumental ensemble was formed in 1979. It's the Purdue Bells, and it's a handbell choir with 26 ringers. And certainly all this information is available on our website, which is purdue.edu/PMO. And right now, if you're wondering, gee, with COVID, what in the world is happening? Because I've heard singing is dangerous in COVID. Well, it can be because COVID is spread through bioaerosols, and boy, singers spread a lot of bioaerosols. So right now, and as long as we need to in the future, we are rehearsing outdoors only. So while I'm safe in my office at Bailey Hall, the choirs will be singing either in the back parking lot, spaced 6 feet or more apart, wearing a special singer's mask that looks like a duckbill, and wearing a plastic windscreen over the front of that. So if somebody catches COVID, it sure isn't going to be from one of our choir rehearsals. So right now, we're about as safe as we can be. And if you're wondering, how can you even hear each other? Well, we've invested quite a bit of money in what's called a silent PA system. So you've got Bluetooth earphones, And basically the director, the piano player are wearing mic packs, and we've got microphones inside the tents. So that ambient sound is all coming into your ear, and it really works beautifully. Benefits and opportunities of being in PMO, a lot of things you might think, building lifelong friendships, experiences, and memories. One of the big differences, we've got probably more travel and performance opportunities than just about any music major that I've witnessed or encountered. And it just happens to have developed that way. We have 90 minutes of music and we sing it in probably 40 different cities, 3 different states, and probably a dozen countries over the past 4 years. So we travel a lot and we perform a lot. And again, depending on your level of involvement, you can kind of determine which ensembles you want to audition for. And I'll talk about that in a minute. The biggest change in PMO since COVID hit is starting this year, it is absolutely free to participate in PMO. You don't pay for anything so much as a name tag, a shirt, a bus ride, a plane ride. Thanks to our donor base and their generosity, PMO is completely free to participate in. Now, in the past, we've given right around $350,000 in scholarships and financial assistance each year. That may change a bit because we're giving a little bit more money now to covering all the basic expenses. But typically, second-year students and beyond apply for scholarships here. And so far, 100% of students that have asked for help have gotten it. And this past year, we awarded at least $1,000 to every student that applied. Real quick, I want to talk about auditions, because if you can get the students to the website, they'll figure this out. But just to give you a basic idea of what the auditions are like, different than a school of music, there's no sight reading on the audition. Also, all of our auditions are completely virtual. So again, they'll go to the website, purdue.edu/PMO. You'll select which ensembles you're interested in, complete that form. And if you're not sure which ensembles you're interested in, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is Purdue PMO. You'll find that on YouTube. And then basically what you're going to record through your phone, iPad, tablet, or laptop, what have you, you're going to record 1-minute excerpts of 2 contrasting songs. You're going to sing a couple vocal exercises so we can hear your range. And all those things, again, are going to be listed in that description on the audition page. Handbell auditions are a little different. You need to contact the director and she'll explain what you need to do. Also, if you're a bass guitar player, drummer, or sound technician, we can let you know what you need to do for that as well. But this is really important and somewhat unexpected. Our audition window is February through June each year. So if you stroll onto campus in August and can't wait to get involved in a choir, you've already missed the boat. So it's important to realize that auditions will take place from February. Auditions wrap up on June 1st. So whether that's ideal or not makes no difference because our groups are always full by June 1st. And we send results, audition results out to students by June 15th. Well, that's kind of a basic overview. And again, if you go to purdue.edu/PMO, all those different things are there. And again, I'm Jeff Valier, and I'm available through that website if you want to shoot me an email. Thanks, AJ.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for teaching us a little bit more about PMO. So we'll move next to Michael, and then we'll go to Dennis. So for now, we'll talk about study abroad. Thank you so much. We'll take it away, Michael.
Great, thanks. Hi, my name is Whittinger, and I'm an assistant director in the study abroad office. And unlike the assumed audience tuning in today, our jobs are to not get students to come to campus, but to convince them to leave. Whether that be a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. We provide opportunities for students to earn academic credit towards their degree. That's taking classes, the same classes that they would take in West Lafayette, but also classes that Purdue would never offer, and of course to take advantage of experiences that cannot be accessible in West Lafayette, Indiana. We are the main, I represent the main study abroad office that deals with any general inquiry about study abroad. We also work with administrators and advisors throughout the colleges who provide study abroad support and assistance for students within their academic units. So there is a lot of full-time employees at Purdue who function specifically with study abroad. So we have different types of programs for different types of students looking for different types of experiences. Our opportunities range from as short as a week. So that includes winter break, spring break programs. We have summer programs that stretch from 2 to 8 weeks, from May through August, through July, I should say. And we have full semester long programs. So they range from as short as a week to as long as an academic year. So students can go for the entire academic year. There really is no ideal time for students to participate in our programs. We are looking for anyone and everyone who is interested in taking advantage of these experiences. Yes, there are applications. Some are as minimal as simply signing up. Some are as extensive as writing application essays and getting letters of recommendations. Those usually have to do with the length of the program. So students are, like I said, earning academic credit. We are truly putting the study in study abroad. So the different types of programs include faculty-led programs. So students going with a Purdue faculty or staff member and taking Purdue courses, essentially taught on location, using the new city or destinations as their classroom. Those are usually the short-term programs. Students can go with partners that we work with. So organizations that set up opportunities for students to live and study overseas. So they will usually operate a study center that includes housing, classrooms, and they organize field trips and all the support and assistance that a student would ever need. We can also send students to foreign universities that we partner with on a direct exchange. And the key word there is the exchange. There's a lot of misconceptions about study abroad, and one of them, probably the biggest one, is cost. If a student participates in a semester-long exchange program, they are paying the exact same tuition dollars to the same office in West Lafayette. So a semester abroad costs the same as a semester on the Purdue campus. So there's a wide variety of opportunities, choices, and we have a full staff of advisors who can help students figure out which opportunity is best for them, when would be best for them, how long, what location, what classes to take. That's what a study abroad advisor works with. We partner with the academic units and the academic advisors to answer those questions. But our website, simply Google Purdue Study Abroad, and you'll find details about all of our program offerings. You and your students that you interact with can follow us on social media at Boilers Abroad. And some of the reasons why students should participate is, well, one, obvious. It's fun. Most people who have ever traveled or have ever had the dreams of traveling, the study abroad opportunity while in college is an ideal time. You're earning academic credit, you're receiving financial support from the university, and you're taking advantage of a time when it's a lot easier to explore the world than when it would be after you graduate, when you have a full-time job, maybe start a family. So those are some of the reasons to seek out these opportunities. Some of the benefits are that it makes you more employable. Purdue is a firm believer that there's a certain type of skill sets that 21st century employers are looking for. And study abroad gives you the opportunity to really test the skills that you have on a day-to-day basis. You're stepping out of your comfort zone. You're put in an uncomfortable situation where you can really figure out what you need to work on and what you have already solidified. And the study abroad experience can give you those chances to really test those skills and develop new ones on a day-to-day basis. COVID-19, the pandemic, has certainly affected what we do in our offices in Young Hall. Our programs over the summer were canceled. Our programs last spring were cut short. However, we certainly expect the opportunity for Purdue to give students the opportunity to seek out international experiences, opportunities to engage with people who are culturally different as soon as possible. And that may be as soon as January. Coming early November, the university will make decisions on university mobility and foreign travel. So we are currently advising students to spend the spring semester abroad. That may or may not happen, but if we are given the go-ahead, they will be ready to go. We are advising students virtually. That can be done through our website and also through our Instagram account. You can make those appointments. So we are fully functional. We are continuing on with our mission, and we are advising students to plan now, to study abroad later. So that's a general overview. And I urge anyone watching this video to seek us out in Young Hall, and we can be reached quite easily. So I invite you to do so. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate it. Great information on study abroad. And last but certainly not least, we have Dennis Bowling student success. So Dennis, if you just want to give us an overview of student success and what it has to offer for prospective students.
Great. Well, happy to. Thank you for having me on the panel. So my name is Dennis Bowling. I'm a Senior Associate Director for Student Success, and I'll spend a little bit of time talking about our 9 different programs we have in Student Success. It's pretty diverse in their missions and what they do, but I'll try to talk through it as kind of like a chronological experience for students interested in coming to Purdue and how they would relate to student success. The first area I'll first talk about is our orientation programs, our transition programs from high school to college. So once a student's accepted and they accept their admissions and they're ready to start, they'll go through a program called STAR, which is Summer Transition Advising and Registration. So it's a chance for students to get registered for classes, meet their academic advisor, and each student is assigned an academic advisor here at Purdue. They have the opportunity to see some different types of things on campus that they can be involved in. Students, we really encourage physical attendance to STAR, although this year we did not do that. Everything was virtual. But in a time when we're not in unprecedented events time, we typically have students come to campus and have this experience on campus. If a student's from, let's say, either side of the coast or has boot camp or something like that, or a study abroad experience during the summer, we certainly could do it virtually in those circumstances. And then in the beginning of the fall semester, right before school starts, we have a program called Boiler Gold Rush. And it's an award-winning program to help students transition and start their experience at Purdue before school starts. So it's usually about a 4-day program where they're in groups with other incoming students, along with having a team leader who's a current student. There's just a lot of academic focus, there's fun focus, there's safety focus. It's all the things you would want to help the students transition to their freshman year. Once they arrive, there's a couple different programs that some students may be involved in. One is called Purdue Promise, which is for students who are in Indiana 21st Century Scholars Program through high school and have an income level of just a gross income level, of $50,000 or less. So if a student's in 21st Century Scholars and have that adjusted income level, they're invited to participate in Purdue Promise. Purdue Promise does really 2 things. One, it provides a gap scholarship. So as you may know, 21st Century Scholars covers the full in-state cost of tuition. The Purdue Promise Scholarship covers basically everything else, including housing, food, books, things of that nature. The other thing it does is provide support. Each Purdue Promise student is assigned a coach, and that coach will work with them all 4 years to help them progress through graduation, talk about barriers they may be facing, help celebrate their successes. And again, the goal is to graduate them in 4 years and fully funded with no debt. So that's the goal of Purdue Promise. We also have another program called Horizons. Some of you may have heard of federal TRIO programs like Upward Bound or McNair Scholars or something like that. We have a TRIO program that we call Horizons here, and it's for low-income, first-generation disabled students. And so we bring in about 80 students a year into the Horizons program. That's what the grant allows through the federal government. And again, similar to Purdue Promise, we provide them support. They have their own supplemental academic advising, free tutoring, a career development specialist, as well as basically a community that they can be involved in of students with different interests, but maybe a common theme of being maybe possibly the first in their family to go to college. So it's just a really good program. Both programs have really good success working with our first generation low income students. The third thing or fourth thing I'll mention is the Disability Resource Center. The DRC, as we call it, is for students who have a disability and helping them through accommodations and to give them access to the college campus at an equal footing of all students. And so I'm sure many of you heard of the IEP process in high school. It's similar to that. What a student will do is if their perspective is they can talk to our access consultants who will talk to them about what they need to be successful, look at their documentation, and basically provide accommodations that will be supportive in their education. So typical accommodations may be extra time in class, a note taker, someone to do sign language, adaptive services like captioning and things like that. There's a lot of different things that we do in disability at the Disability Resource Center to help support students through that. So it's a really robust program. We have, I want to say 12 to 15 access consultants to work with our students. Finally, I want to mention, I want to mention the Academic Success Center. We bring in some really high quality students, but that doesn't mean that every student doesn't need a little support or a little help. So the Academic Success Center is there for them to provide strategies and tips for academic success. They offer coursework, workshops, and peer counseling and professional counseling when it comes to study strategies and skills. We also have a Veteran Success Center who works with our veterans as well as students using GI Bill benefits from their parents. And so we help them with the certification of benefits, so they get their GI Bill benefits correct. But we also offer support for those students when it comes to career development, personal coaching, and then a space for them to know and meet other veterans who have similar experiences that they do. I think finally I want to mention up here is our testing center. We have a testing center that offers accommodated testing as well as standardized testing that's done like CLEP. Some of our graduate types of exams are offered there as well. So there's a lot of ways that students can gain credit for those programs. Oh, thank you. That was basically a quick rundown.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dennis. We truly appreciate those of you who tuned in or watched us, the recorded version or the live version. We really, really appreciate it. All of these individuals have websites, or Purdue has websites for all these information. If you need to find anything out more or reach out to them to get your questions answered for your prospective students that may be interested in attending Purdue University. So thank you so much for your attendance, and thank you so much to all of our panelists, and we really appreciate your time.